Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive.
Yes.
This time we're tackling a topic that I think is on everyone's mind,
Yeah,
financial freedom.
absolutely.
You guys sent in a ton of requests to do a deep dive on Grant Sabatier's book, Financial Freedom.
That's right.
And let me tell you, his story is pretty wild. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about a guy who went from totally broke to a millionaire in just 5 years.
5 years. It's incredible.
5 years. Like, that's got to make you wonder, right? Like, is that whole work till you're 65 and then maybe you can relax thing, is that really the only way to do it?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, so many of us are stuck in that traditional mindset.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Sabatier's book really challenges that whole idea head on.
Oh, yeah. He throws that traditional retirement advice right out the window.
Yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat it.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, hey, that save a tiny bit and work till you drop a plan. It might not actually cut it.
It's a wake-up call for a lot of people.
For real.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the money either. He makes you think about all that time you're spending working those years when you're full of energy and you have all these dreams.
It's like trading away your most valuable asset time for a promise that might not even pan out.
Exactly. And Sabatier gives this example in the book that really stuck with me. It's about this guy, Travis.
Oh, yeah. Travis, the project manager.
Him.
Mm.
He thinks he's got it all figured out. He's like, I'm going to retire early. I've got this plan. But then when you actually look at his numbers.
His plan is built on some pretty shaky assumptions.
Totally.
Okay.
And I think a lot of us are kind of like Travis. You know, we think we're doing okay, but are we really making the most of our time and our money?
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and not really think about the long term.
For sure. And that's what I love about Sabatier's book. He's like, wake up, people. Let's stop sleepwalking through life and actually take control of our financial futures.
And one of the most powerful tools he gives us is this idea of the power of compounding.
Okay, I'll admit, when I first heard about compounding, I was like, huh. It sounded super complicated.
I get it. It can seem a bit intimidating at first.
Yeah, but Sabatier explains it in a way that actually makes sense.
He breaks it down really well.
So basically, it's like your money's not just sitting there in a bank account. It's actually working for you, making more money.
It's like a snowball effect. The longer you leave it invested, the more it grows.
Okay, so the earlier we start investing, even small amounts, the more time that money has to snowball.
Precisely. Even if you're just starting out and can only invest a little bit each month, that early start makes a huge difference in the long run.
So it's not just about how much you invest, it's also about when you start investing.
Exactly. Sabatier gives this mind-blowing example in the book. He says, imagine you invest just $100 today at a 10% annual growth rate.
$100, that's it.
That's all, and you just leave it alone for 40 years.
40 years, okay.
It turns into over $5,000 without you ever lifting a finger.
No way. Just $100 can go to $5,000? That's insane.
That's the magic of compounding.
Okay, I'm officially a believer in compounding.
It's a game changer for sure.
So instead of thinking about retirement as this far-off thing that happens when you're 65.
Yeah, like this distant finish line.
Exactly. Sabatier wants us to start thinking about financial freedom.
Yes. Having enough invested that you can live off the returns.
And potentially way earlier than 65.
That's the beauty of it.
It's like taking control and saying, I'm not going to wait till I'm old and gray to enjoy my life.
It's about creating a life you love on your own terms.
I love that. But how do we actually figure out what that freedom looks like for us? Like, where do we even begin?
Well, Sabatier gives us this really cool framework for calculating what he calls your number.
My number, okay.
It's basically the amount of money you need invested to support your ideal lifestyle.
Like, for the rest of my life.
Yep, not just for a few years, but for the rest of your life.
Okay, now we're talking. This number is like our financial freedom target.
Exactly, but it's not just about picking some random number.
Right, it has to be
Yeah.
based on something.
Sabatier helps us break it down step by step, taking into account things like our living expenses, where we want to live, even accounting for things like inflation and any potential future income.
It's totally personalized.
Just like this deep dive.
I love it. But okay, full disclosure, I'm not exactly a math whiz.
Yeah.
Calculating that number sounds a bit intimidating.
Don't worry. Sabatier knows that most of us aren't walking calculators. He provides all the formulas and even has some online tools to help you crunch the numbers.
Phew, that makes me feel better.
And the cool thing is this number isn't set in stone.
Oh, that's good because life is always changing.
Exactly. As your life changes, your goals might shift too. So it's something you can revisit and recalibrate as you go along.
So it's like a living, breathing financial roadmap.
I like that. It's a guide, not a rule.
Okay, so let's say we've figured out our number.
Yeah.
Now how do we actually reach it?
This is where Sabatier drops some serious truth bombs. He's like, it's not just about how much you earn, it's about how much you save.
Wait, hold up. Are you saying that someone making a modest income could potentially reach financial freedom faster than someone making a six-figure salary?
You got it. It all comes down to those choices we make with our money.
So it's not about winning the lottery or inheriting a fortune. It's about being smart with what you have.
Exactly. Sabatier shows us how even small changes in our spending habits can have a huge impact on our savings rate.
And that savings rate, that's the key to reaching our number right.
It's the biggest factor by far.
So even if we're not raking in the big bucks, we could still make serious progress toward financial freedom by being mindful about our spending.
Absolutely. It's about taking control of our finances and making choices that align with our long-term goals.
I love that. It's empowering to know that we have more control than we might think.
It's all about making those conscious choices.
So it's not just about cutting back on lattes. It's about building a life where we're not constantly stressed about money.
It's about creating a life where we have the freedom to pursue our passions and live life on our own terms.
And that's what financial freedom is all about, right?
Absolutely.
But let's be real. Saving a big chunk of your income can feel impossible sometimes, especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah, it can be tough, but that's where Sabatier's next idea comes in. He encourages us to think beyond that traditional 9-to-5 grind.
Oh, okay, you're talking about side hustles, right?
Exactly. And online businesses, the gig economy, all those things we hear about.
But there are so many options out there. It's hard to know where to even begin.
I know it can feel overwhelming, but Sabatier gives us a ton of different ideas for generating income on our own terms.
So we're not just talking about driving for Uber or delivering food.
Those are options too. But he goes way beyond that. He talks about things like building an online course based on your skills, creating and selling digital products, even freelance writing or virtual assisting.
Wow, there really is something for everyone.
Exactly. It's all about tapping into those skills or passions we already have and seeing them as potential income generators.
So it's not about learning some crazy new skill. It's about leveraging what we already know.
Yeah. Exactly. And the beauty of it is we can do it on our own time from anywhere in the world.
This is starting to sound less like work and more like freedom.
That's the whole point. It's about shifting from trading time for money to building assets that work for you, potentially generating income even while you sleep.
Okay, now that's a dream come true. Passive income, here we come.
It's totally possible.
All right, so we're diligently saving, maybe even exploring some side hustle opportunities. What happens to all that hard-earned money? How do we make it work for us?
That's where investing comes in.
Okay, but investing always seems super intimidating to me. I'm more of a stuff it in a savings account and hope for the best kind of person.
I hear you. It can definitely seem overwhelming, especially if you're new to the game. But Sabatier focuses on making investing feel accessible, even for beginners.
So he breaks down those complex financial terms into something we can actually understand.
He does a fantastic job of demystifying the world of investing. And you know what? He's not talking about picking individual stocks or trying to time the market.
Oh, thank goodness, because that stuff goes right over my head.
He's a big advocate for index fund investing, especially for beginners.
Okay, index funds, I've heard of those, but I'm not really sure what they are.
Think of them like baskets of stocks that track a particular market index, like the S&P 500.
Okay, so instead of trying to pick individual stocks, which can be super risky,
Super risky.
I'm basically spreading my risk across the entire market.
You got it. It's like instant diversification.
And why are index funds better than just picking my own stocks?
Well, for one thing, index funds have historically outperformed most actively managed funds, those fancy funds where experts try to pick the best stocks.
So they actually do better than the experts.
Often, yes. Plus, index funds typically have much lower fees, which means more of your money is actually working for you.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like having a team of experts working behind the scenes, making sure my investments are diversified and on track.
Exactly. It takes a lot of the guesswork and stress out of investing.
I like the sound of that. Less stress, more money.
That's the goal.
But does Sabatier just blindly throw all his money into index funds? Or does he have other investments too?
He actually shares his own portfolio in the book, and it's pretty interesting. While the majority of his investments are in index funds, he does allocate a small percentage to individual stocks of companies he really believes in, like Amazon and Apple.
Oh, so it's not like an all or nothing thing.
Not at all. It's about finding a balance that feels right for you, understanding the basics of investing, doing your research, and ultimately putting your money in things you feel confident about.
I love how he empowers us to take control of our own financial destiny. But while we're working towards financial freedom, what about our current jobs? Do we just have to grin and bear it until we hit our magic number and can finally escape?
Not necessarily. Sabatier introduces this cool concept called job hacking.
Job hacking. Okay, what's that all about?
It's about being smart and strategic with your current job, making sure you're getting the most out of it while you're building your path to financial freedom.
So it's not about being shady or unethical.
No, not at all. It's about maximizing your current situation.
Give me some examples. What kind of job hacking secrets are we talking about?
Well, for starters, he talks about making sure you're getting your full employer match on your 401k.
Oh yeah, that's free money.
Exactly.
That-
And you don't want to leave that on the table.
Absolutely not.
He also talks about negotiating for benefits that align with your lifestyle, like remote work options or flexible schedules. And he encourages us to use data and research to build a case for a raise. It's about knowing your worth and advocating for yourself.
I love how he emphasizes the power of negotiation and self-advocacy. So many people just accept their current situation without realizing they have the power to change it.
That's right. We have more power than we think.
It's like we're taking control of our careers as well as our finances.
It's all connected.
This is already so much to digest. I
Yeah.
think we've covered a ton of ground in just this first part of our deep dive.
We definitely have. But hold on tight because we're just getting started.
That's right. We've got a lot more to unpack, so stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into financial freedom, where we'll delve even deeper into specific techniques for maximizing those savings, generating passive income, and navigating the world of investing.
We'll be back soon with more.
See you then.
Welcome back to our deep dive into financial freedom. Are you ready for more?
Oh, I'm definitely ready. Part 1 got me so fired up about taking control of my finances.
That's awesome to hear. And in this part, we're going to get even more tactical. We're going to dive into specific strategies for supercharging your savings.
Okay, supercharging my savings. I like the sound of that. But where do we even start?
Well, Sabatier kicks things off with this idea of knowing your net worth.
Net worth.
Yeah, it's basically a snapshot of your overall financial health, like a financial report card.
Okay, a financial report card. So how do we figure out what our grade is?
It's pretty straightforward, actually. You add up all your assets, things like the money you have in your bank accounts, the value of your investments, even your car or your house if you own one.
Okay, so all the good stuff, the things we own.
Right, and then you subtract your liabilities.
Liabilities.
Yeah, things like student loans, credit card debt, or any other money you owe. Basically anything that's dragging down your financial picture.
Got it. So it's like a big financial equation. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth.
You got it.
But why is tracking this net worth number so important?
Well, tracking your net worth, even just checking it every week, can be incredibly eye-opening. It helps you see how all those financial decisions you're making, big or small, are actually impacting your overall progress.
Oh, I see. It's like holding a mirror up to our spending habits.
Exactly. It shows you whether you're moving toward financial freedom or stuck in a rut. And speaking of moving forward, remember how we talked about those multiple income streams?
Oh, yeah. Those side hustles and online businesses.
Well, they can play a huge role in boosting that net worth.
Right. But it's still kind of hard to picture how those extra income streams actually translate into, like, building real wealth.
Okay, think of it this way. Every dollar you earn from a side hustle or an online business, that's like adding another soldier to your financial freedom army.
Okay, love the analogy. So we're not just talking about spending that extra cash. It's about strategically using it to grow our net worth.
You got it. And one of the best ways to do that is through investing.
Oh, right, investing. That brings us back to investing. It can feel kind of overwhelming, especially for someone like me who's not a financial expert.
Yeah, I get it. But the good news is Sabatier is all about making investing feel approachable.
Even for beginners like me.
Even for beginners. He breaks everything down in simple terms, explains all those financial terms that can sound really intimidating.
So he demystifies the whole world of investing.
He totally does. He talks about things like the different types of investment accounts, tax-free contribution accounts, tax-deferred accounts, and taxable accounts.
Okay, wait, can we break those down a bit?
Yeah.
What are the main differences between those?
Totally. Think of a tax-free account, like a Roth IRA, as a magical piggy bank where your money grows completely tax-free.
Tax-free, that sounds amazing.
And it is. It's like the government's giving you a little bonus for saving for retirement.
Okay, I'm sold on the Roth IRA. What about those other accounts?
Well, tax-deferred accounts, like those traditional 401ks and IRAs, let you invest money before taxes are taken out. So that lowers your taxable income now, but you'll pay taxes when you withdraw the funds later in retirement.
So it's like delaying those taxes.
Exactly. And then taxable accounts are pretty straightforward. You pay taxes on any investment gains along the way.
Okay, got it. Tax-free, tax-deferred, and taxable. But with all these different options, how do you figure out which one's right for you?
Great question. And Sabatier emphasizes this point. Maximize those tax-advantaged accounts, like your 401k, from your job, especially if your company matches your contributions.
Oh, yeah. Free money from my employer. That's definitely something I want to make sure I'm taking advantage of.
Absolutely. And he even goes into some smart ways to minimize taxes on your investments, which can really boost your returns over time.
Wow, tax strategies for investing. Seems like there's a whole world of knowledge out there that I need to learn about.
There definitely is. But Sabatier makes it all feel manageable. He lays out those fundamentals so clearly, He wants us to feel empowered to take control of our investments, not intimidated by them.
I'm definitely feeling more confident about this whole investing thing.
That's great to hear. And remember, even a small step can make a big difference. Starting is the most important thing.
Yeah, I'm starting to see investing in a whole new light now. It's not this scary, complicated monster. It's actually a tool that can help me achieve my goals.
You got it. It's about taking those small steps now and watching them compound into big results later.
Okay, so we're diligently saving, investing, maybe even got a side hustle going. What happens when we actually reach that financial freedom number? What's life like on the other side of the 9 to 5?
Ugh, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And Sabatier acknowledges that it can actually be a tricky transition.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, some people might experience a little bit of a "what do I do now?" feeling after they achieve this goal they've been working towards for so long.
I can see that. It's like you've been so focused on reaching the destination, you haven't really thought about what you'll do once you get there.
Exactly. Sabatier reminds us that it's not just about the money, it's about designing a life that's truly fulfilling.
So it's about more than just not having to work. It's about finding purpose and meaning in our lives.
Exactly. And that might mean pursuing passions, traveling, spending more time with loved ones, or maybe even starting a business.
It's about having the freedom to choose how we spend our time.
Absolutely. And remember, early retirement doesn't necessarily mean never working again.
Oh, right. I could see myself wanting to work, but maybe on my own terms.
Exactly. Maybe it's a passion project or a part-time gig or even starting that business you've always dreamed of. It's about finding the right balance for you.
So it's about designing a life we love, not just escaping a job we hate.
That's a great way to put it. And that's really the heart of what financial freedom is all about, isn't it? It's not just about money. It's about having the power to make choices that align with our values and create a life that we truly enjoy.
I love that. Okay, I think this is a good spot to take a breath and process everything we've talked about so far.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground in this part. We explored the importance of knowing our net worth, demystified those different investment accounts, talked about those tax strategies, and even started to imagine what life could look like beyond that traditional 9 to 5.
I'm feeling so inspired. I'm ready to take action and start making those changes.
That's awesome. And the best part is we've got one more segment coming up and we're going to dive even deeper.
Oh, there's more. I can't wait.
We're going to get into advanced techniques for managing your investments, optimizing your withdrawal strategy for early retirement, and cultivating that abundance mindset that will really help you make financial freedom a reality.
It sounds like we're about to unlock the final secrets to financial freedom. I'm so ready. We're back for the final part of our deep dive into financial freedom. We've talked about rethinking retirement, boosting savings, and even dipping our toes into investing. But what happens when we actually hit that financial freedom number?
That's where the real fin begins. But like Sabatier says, it's not just about reaching the number and then kicking back. It's about making sure those savings actually last.
Right. We've built this amazing financial fortress. We don't want it to crumble because we didn't have a plan for managing it.
Exactly. And that's where having a smart withdrawal strategy comes in.
Okay, withdrawal strategy sounds a little technical. What are we talking about here?
It's basically your plan for how much money you're going to take out of your savings each year to cover your living expenses without running out.
So it's not just quitting your job and hoping for the best.
Nope. It's about creating a system that ensures your money will last for the long haul.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do we figure out what our withdrawal strategy should be?
Well, one of the key things Sabatier talks about is determining your safe withdrawal rate.
Safe withdrawal rate. Okay, what's that?
It's the percentage of your portfolio that you can safely withdraw each year without depleting your principal.
So we're not just spending all our savings at once. We're figuring out a sustainable amount we can withdraw each year.
You got it.
But How do you even figure out what that safe withdrawal rate should be?
The traditional rule of thumb is 4%, but Sabatier actually suggests aiming for a more conservative range of 3% to 4%, especially for those who retire early.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The earlier you retire, the longer that money needs to last.
Exactly. But here's the thing. It's not just a set it and forget it kind of deal. You have to be flexible and adjust your withdrawals based on how your investments are doing and what's happening in the market.
So we need to be actively managing our money, even in retirement.
It's more about being adaptable and making smart decisions along the way. For example, if the market takes a dip one year, you might want to reduce your withdrawals or rely more on your cash reserves.
Okay, so we need to be prepared for those ups and downs.
Exactly. And that's why diversification is so important.
Right. Spreading our investments across different asset classes.
It helps to mitigate the risk associated with market volatility.
So we're not putting all our eggs in one basket.
Exactly. But honestly, all this talk about managing investments and withdrawal rates can make retirement sound like a lot of work.
I know, right?
Sabatier gets that. While he encourages us to be involved in managing our finances, he also stresses the importance of seeking guidance from qualified financial professionals.
So it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to those big decisions.
Hmm.
It's always good to have a trusted advisor in your corner.
Okay, that takes some of the pressure off. But beyond all the numbers and strategies, there's also this whole emotional aspect to early retirement that we haven't really talked about.
You're right. It's a huge life change, and it can definitely come with its own set of challenges.
Like what kind of challenges?
Well, remember that "what do I do now" feeling we talked about. It can be tough to figure out how to fill your time when you're not working a traditional job.
It's like you've been so focused on achieving this goal, and then suddenly you have all this freedom, and it can be a little overwhelming.
It definitely can. So Sabatier emphasizes the importance of having a plan for how you'll spend your time and energy in this new chapter of your life.
So it's not just about financial freedom. It's about creating a life that's truly fulfilling.
You got it. Whether that means pursuing passions, traveling, spending time with loved ones, or even starting a business, it's important to have something to look forward to.
It's about finding purpose and meaning beyond the paycheck.
And remember, early retirement doesn't have to mean stopping work altogether.
Right. It could mean shifting to a more fulfilling career or finding work that aligns with your passions.
It's all about creating a life that reflects your values and gives you a sense of purpose.
I think that's a perfect way to wrap up our deep dive into financial freedom. We've covered so much ground, from redefining retirement to maximizing savings, navigating the world of investing, and even planning for that next chapter of our lives.
We've really explored what it means to achieve true financial freedom.
It's not just about the money. It's about having the time and resources to pursue your dreams and live a life that's meaningful to you.
And it's totally within your reach.
So remember, it all starts with taking that first step. Whether it's calculating your number, setting a savings goal, exploring a side hustle, or even just picking up Sabatier's book and giving it a read, the most important thing is to get started.
And remember, this is a journey, not a race. There will be ups and downs, but with the right knowledge and mindset, you can achieve anything.
That's right. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for that financial freedom. We'll see you next time for another deep dive. Until then, keep those financial freedom snowballs rolling.